Hello there, welcome back to Profneel. It's a pleasure having you here. When mehersarid's stubbornness won the day. In 1989, I joined the IHMCT PUSA and appointed by Mr. Sudhir Andrews. I don't know, on my joining itself, he appointed me as the advisor or the editor for the Writers Club. At that time, it was summers, and the third year students were on vacation. The first year they had to join. The second year was a limited strength, half of the strength, because the first half had gone into the industry for the industrial training, 6 months. The other half were there in the college, so limited faculty again, teaching faculty. But with this sort of scratch team that I had, we started producing the newsletter called Some Achar, Some in English and Achar in Hindi. Ms. Andrews was happy to note that I had got into the act. After the present batch went into the industry, the first batch returned. That's when the Writers Club took shape. Nirbhik Goyal, a Mayo College alumnus, was appointed secretary and editor, that is, as the secretary's editor. His clarity was evident as he wanted to go beyond the weekly newsletters. But of course, keep it going, because with all the activities happening on campus with the first years, with the third years, the second years, his plan was to start working on the souvenir, to be released just before the annual day, as Writers Club gift to the institute for posterity. Leading from the front, he created the various teams: the editorial team, the production team, the creative team. The editorial team had Ajay Poonj, Harani Padmanabhan, Nirbhik himself, Nirbhik and Anshu Maheshwari to manage the Hindi section, and Sahiti Gadam. So these were the people on the editorial team. For the creative team, there was only Mehersarid Bharucha, now known as Mehersarid. She's the only Parsi student that I have in the course of my as being a teacher. So I fondly called her Bavi. So Bavi was the only creative person, and her creatives were fantastic. The production team composed of two people, Mohan Mathur and Kabir Khattar. The timeline for each text, for each task was set. Team members being professional, there was hardly any hitch in our timelines being not met. It was done very effortlessly, so Nirbhik and I were comfortable in that respect, except for some little minor creases. The team members learnt the importance of daily meetings. Every evening, post the institute, after the institute closed for the day, we met in my office, small little office, and set timing, 5:15 or 5:30, something like that. They learned that even discipline was important there, punctuality. Because once or twice they turned up late, and they came to find a lock on the door and their nails were missing. From then they realized that timing, punctuality was important everywhere. All the handwritten notes were embellished with Ajay Poonj using his blue pencil, because he was gifted to be the editor of the Times of India. He could write edits like the Times of India editors. So gifted he was, and he embellished them so beautifully. My job was only to type out what he had embellished. That's it, nothing more. We had decided that a dummy should be produced well before the timeline of the dummy also, and a dummy should be exactly like the annual. So there's nothing going out of place. Nirbhik was very clear about that. The edited contents were ready, and we're ready for the dummy. The dummy was ready, and we've made. And now the only thing missing was the cover page. The creators for the internal pages were also done. For the back cover also was done. Now the cover page was only to be done, to be approved and taken forward. And Meher had done a beautiful work on the cover page. She produced it. It was super. She had taken the photograph of the view of the institute building from the gate, the front gate, the facade, in short. And she had put a little bit frame, and she had put it in the frame on the cover page, and with the annual, with the year written below that. The only hitch being that she had tilted the photograph a little bit in the frame. Thus I call this narrative the tilted stubbornness of mehersarid. That was against the grain, tilting the photograph. It was not accepted. I was seated behind the table with a typewriter in front of me. I could see the script of the 12 Angry Men film being played out in my presence. It was beautiful. I wish I could have filmed it. So there was Meher pitted against everybody else, and she was not going to let go of that tilting. So as per the norms, norms of Writers Club, we had to discuss and debate anything. And creative people, can take offense if their work is rejected or not liked. They will throw tantrums, they'll shout, they'll leave out, they'll walk out. Meher chose not to do so, despite being furious. I knew that girl was furious. Her fair face betrayed that. But then she chose to work to convince each person in that team, each in the language they understood. And then finally, it came to me for the casting vote. Now, I did not want to use my casting vote. I said, let's go for the dummy, as everybody says. If the dummy comes out well, why don't we go for the annual? Is that what we had decided earlier? Whatever is in the dummy is accepted, we'll go for the final print. Once the dummy came, that tilted photograph looked picture postcard perfect. And you could see Meher with that wide smile, with that, didn't I tell you guys, with everyone, because each of us were gushing over it. And she looked like a cat who had a bowl of cream. We went ahead with the tilted photograph. Now remember, it was initially rejected. I learned, if everybody is thinking the same, nobody is thinking. And if you feel your idea can make a significant positive difference, don't give in to those who are opposing you, who are objecting to you. Convince them, persevere, be persistent as Meher did. And when you have a team and I also learned when you have a team with great talent, don't try to interfere. Just be there as a binding agent. And just mediate in case there is a need to be. Now, I didn't have to do any work because I'll tell you what the pedigree of my team that I had. The pedigree, brilliant. Nirbhik Goyal was selected on campus as a management training in the Oberois. And his last designation in India, he moved from India to the Gulf after he left the Indian the job in India. He was working as the managing director of the Barclays Bank India. Mehersarid is one of the pioneering persons in India as a celebrity wedding planners. Khattar, being the Kabir Khattar, being the production person that he was, he went into he joined the national media. He was there with Outlook India for some time. And Mohan Mathur went to join MX Cards. Ajay Punj was sparkling in the hospitality industry, and I'm sure his letters and his communication would be envied by the management and his guests in the industry, and all his colleagues and peers will be looking forward to reading his letters. Such was his communication. He still writes creative stories and sends it to all of us, and poetry too. Harini Padmanabhan, now Harini Rajan. Now look at the twist in the tale here. Harini is now Harini Rajan, and she is a banker with the Commonwealth Bank down under in Australia. Now she had got through the premier National Institute of Design, NID, in Ahmedabad, while Meher always aspired to join the NID but couldn't get through. Yet Harini Padmanabhan then chose to underplay that, never ever said that, never ever remarked on Meher's creatives. And that's why I like Harini's character trait for that. It's only later that I learned about the NID factor in both their lives. Embrace the twist to enjoy the turn. Thank you.